from that point on, I don't think I ever stuck up for them.
Right, because they wouldn't protect you, and you know, these were the people who were supposedly, this is God's organization, they're supposed to be your family. You know, when you become a Jehovah's Witness, supposedly these are your brothers and sisters, they're supposed to love you, and they didn't show love to you at all. So, and this is what, you know, many of us have experienced, even though we didn't go through, you know, exactly the same thing you went through. You know, some of us went through abuse, and, you know, when I was a Jehovah's Witness and, you know, young and 18 years old, and I was abused by my first husband there, and I was told that it was my fault, you know, that if I would just quit nagging, maybe he wouldn't beat me anymore. You know, it's always the victim's fault. You know, you could be innocent of everything, you know, not causing a problem, and somebody could be abusing you, but it's always, the abusers always seems to get off scot-free.
They do, and I think that's, I think one of the main things is to let people see that, people who are outsiders to see it. You guys have heard, I just went to New York to see a documentary that just, it was their premiere screening of their documentary, Truth Be Told. Watching this video was not necessarily an eye-opener. It was like, here's a bunch of people with different names but telling my story. When the movie's all about being born and raised a Jehovah's Witness. Well, they're actually, I can't say born and raised, but being raised Jehovah's Witness. The things you go through as a child in school, almost being persecuted against. I remember being a child and my teachers being completely racist, I guess you could say, against me because I wouldn't salute the flag. You know, just things like that. You know, having to go sit in the principal's office or sit in detention while people were doing birthday parties or Christmas. And I see everybody in this audience nodding their head, and it's so true because that's what we went through, and that's what it means to be raised a Jehovah's Witness. And that's the message I think that's so important to get out there for other people who, you know, might get a knock at their door on a Saturday morning, for them to see, so that they can really see what they're going to get themselves into, to see what it's really about, what they're going to be putting their families through. That's a whole other side of it that this documentary has really brought to light, and I encourage everybody, I know it's not going to be out yet, but I encourage everybody to see that. There was actually quite a few non-Jehovah's Witnesses in the crowd, and it was great to hear them afterwards say that, you know what, they really understood it, being from an outsider. So, I mean, while it's very validating to see it, being a Jehovah's Witness and saying, you know, that's what we went through, it's also validating to have people who are outside of the Jehovah's Witness go, wow, I really understand this, and it's an important message to get across now, I think.
Yeah, because most of us have a lot of the same similar things that we've all gone through. My sister was younger when my family became Jehovah's Witnesses, and she too also had the same experience of, you know, having to be sent to the library and always being the odd person out because, you know, you're raised with this thing, well, you know, you live with this persecution. And you know, you're taught, well, you know, you're being persecuted because this is God's organization and you're the only organization that teaches the truth. And so you walk around with a chip on your shoulder and at the same time always feeling hurt that you aren't allowed to participate in different functions, and then, you know, just being a kid within the organization, having to sit through these long meetings. You know, and kids are just always seems like the kids are kind of an afterthought. You know, kids aren't loved in the organization. You know, you have to sit through the long meetings. You hear about the kids that are you know, spanked by their parents, you know, if they don't stay awake for the whole meeting. and so this is the environment. It's a high control, abusive environment, which I believe has led to so much of what you went through and what other, you know, young women, young men have gone through, being abused in the WatchTower, whether it's, you know, sexual or other physical abuse. So it's this high control, you know, rules, everything is about these rules that they have, these policies, there's these procedures that aren't designed to protect any of the people, but in fact all they do is cause abuse to happen.
Right, and along with the first thing that you had said is it's those beliefs in being raised like that is what, you know, creates that family dynamic that harbors pedophiles. And it's also, I mean, it's the start of it. I guess I didn't say that right. It's really just the start of it. I mean, because so many emotional things come from being raised like that, or so many emotional things come from, you know, having that helplessness in this religion that you really, really feel. Because even if you're not happy as a person, this is the truth, and this is the only thing that is ever going to bring you salvation or ever going to bring you peace, you know, even if it doesn't feel right to you at that time. So it sets you up for that hopelessness that you feel, and you bring that into your later life. I mean, I'm only 26, but I guess I could say it brings me into my later life. And it's affected my relationships. It's affected how I am with other people, and it's something that, you know, we have to really relearn, I think. We have to really relearn the trust. We really have to relearn, you know, friendships. We have to really relearn, you know, for our family members that are in the truth still, we have to really be able to set those boundaries of what we are going to take, what we're going to put up with, and we have to set that boundary of saying, you know what, okay, this is you, but this is me. You know, this is me, and this is how I'm going to choose to live my life, and I'm going to be happy knowing that I made that choice. I think that's kind of how I feel, and I think that's kind of also what this video brings out in the end, is what, you know, this is our healing process, you know, to be able to make that choice, set those boundaries, and to really be happy.